Tennessee takes down UCLA and moves on to the Sweet 16.
Mick, you'll see LA because the Bruins are going home.
I'm Shea, and this is Jace. Welcome to the PCS Volcast. We cover the SEC and all things Vols, so subscribe for more and like this video if you enjoy the content. Today we're going to go over our thoughts, the M&LVPs from the game, and how our predictions held up. Let's start with our thoughts.
So honestly, this game played out pretty much how I expected it to. It was a defensive slugfest. To start the game, Bilodeau was getting his at times, and he was giving them a chance at the beginning. Both sides defensively were very impressive this game.
To start, we had bad shooting for sure. Chaz was going up, trying to hit a bunch of twos like he was against Wofford, and it was just not going down the same.
Yeah, his two-point efficiency was not the best. He had a few layups, but the jump shots were, two-point jump shots were not all that great. He was good from three, though. 4 for 5 from three. Despite, the reflection off of Cronin's head. I'm sure that was getting in his eyes a little bit. But
yeah, and we also had some bad ball security as well, giving up 18 turnovers. I was looking at the past 5 games. We were averaging around anywhere from 8 to 11. And so to give up 18 last night was kind of absurd.
I will say, we pointed this out a lot in the preview video. Go check that out if you wanted to see what we were thinking before the game started. But, that's their whole thing, is causing turnovers. And they did that, honestly, better than I expected last night. As you said, 18 turnovers from Tennessee. They were getting into us. The ball pressure was really nice. And 18 turnovers is a lot, but I'm really, happy that we still prevailed despite that many turnovers.
We basically overcame the turnovers. They only got 22 points off of the 18 turnovers, so they're getting 1.1 points per turnover. They definitely should have utilized that, and if they did, they would not have been down at half because we got 15 points off of their 11 turnovers, which is also not super efficient, but still.
Getting those free points from the turnovers is really nice. I think for both teams you would want to see more, but that was a huge boost. That's a huge percentage of the total points in the game because there were not many scored in the game.
Yeah, I want to hit on the threes that we were just talking about. So, like we said, Chaz did not light it up as much as he did against Wofford, but 20 points was still good. Mm-hmm. And mostly the percentage. As a team, we shot 50 from
That's
three.
Huge. That's huge.
Big shout out to Chaz, Meshack, and Gainey. All three of them had really good percentages from three. Mm-hmm. The one guy that did not do so hot is Ziegler, but he shines in so many other ways. It doesn't really matter.
We didn't need him to do that much. And on their side, they after the beginning of the game, shot pretty flat, especially, their others being everyone not named Bilodeau, Mara, and Sky Clark. They shot 30% from three, and everyone but those guys were around 26 actually. So we did really well. That's our strength, is three-point defense, and we just did really well overall, forcing them into bad shots. Low percentage shots, that is.
We also destroyed them in rebounds. Mr. Ademara, he went out there, looked a little scary just, from his face and height, of course. But his rebounds were not as dominant as I was expecting. He played a lot longer than I expected, 20 minutes. And then a guy that we were talking about in the last episode, Kobe Johnson, did not play as long. I don't know why. He only came out with 27. He's used to around 39. I think Felix held his own as well as he could. I really thought we were going to have another Zach Edey situation on our hands, but thankfully that did not happen.
Yeah, talking about Mara, if you're a UCLA fan, you are really happy with him. If he stays there, he is a scary, scary player, so efficient. He probably has one of the highest plus-minuses in the country for how many minutes he plays. Yeah, he had 3 blocks. He was just dominating the paint at times, offensively and defensively. I think he led them in assists, too. He was just doing everything for them. But, again, only 20 minutes played, so they can't really do a lot, with him on the bench and whatnot. But, yeah, with rebounding, we got rebounded them by 10. Felix, Igor, and Cade had a Felix, Igor, and Cade had a combined 20 rebounds. That's something that, I mentioned in the preview video, that they really need to rebound, and they did. Whenever we forced them in the bad shots or they just missed, we were able to secure the boards more times than not.
Which is really surprising. When we were talking about the Wofford game, they had tied us in rebounds at 36. I really thought that we were not a great rebounding team, but we use it as a strength in this game, which is exactly why we had such a dominating victory.
And the rebounds was something that Rick Barnes mentioned at the end of the game, kind of in the locker room. That was like his biggest takeaway, positive takeaway from this game.
And then my final thought is just that we had great free throw shooting again. We haven't been super good all season, but just like lately, we've really been turning it up. And I'm feeling confident. Anytime I see any of our guys go out there, I'm confident they're going to be hitting above 50%.
Yeah, free throw shooting was 14 for 16 for Tennessee. Really efficient, more efficient than last game. Able to get some good and one opportunities in this game. So, yeah, I was very happy with that. And I think, overall we did out physical them, which let us get to the line as well. Also, something I touched on in the previous video was our bench production. Our bench supplied 18 points off of 14 field goal attempts. That's way better than last game. We increased that from 5 to 14. That was mainly Gainey. Cade, was able to play better too this game. So I'm really happy that it wasn't all just on Chaz, Ziegler, and the starters.
And then to close out my thoughts, I noticed that it was really close to start. We had a pretty sluggish start, but we ended up pulling away and giving ourselves some cushion.
Yeah, again, Mara with that paint protection. It was really sluggish kind of until that last 5 minutes of the first half, and then we just went on an explosive Tennessee patented run led by our defense. We drew an offensive foul. We had a three before that. We drew an offensive foul, had a near shot clock violation. We got some free throws, and then that full court deflection into a steal that Chaz Lanier and one. That really, put us in a good position, really a 10-point swing. That took a little bit of pressure off of us to have to shoot well in the second half. So that, to me, was kind of when the game started to break down and we pulled ahead.
All right, so now let's look at the MVPs and the LVPs from the game. My first one is how we crawled our way forward after the 18 minutes.
Yes.
We were all tied up around 22 or so, 18 minutes in, and then just blew past them those last 2 minutes, and that was really good to see. Makes me feel pretty confident because I was getting worried. I was like, how are they outplaying us right now? We're shooting so bad, and we just turned it on.
Yeah, that's exactly that run I was talking about, led by our guards. That was beautiful. My MVP was Chaz Lanier, another 20-point game. I mean, he's averaging, 24 and a half or something in the tournament right now, which is huge for us. I'm really happy that he's playing his best ball this season, in March.
My other one is Sky Clark getting fouled so often. He only played 3 minutes in the first half. This is an MVP for Tennessee, obviously. He ended up turning it on in the second half. He had 18 points, but in the first half, he was struggling to stay on the court, and that was huge for us. But I'm also going to give him a nod because he did go off in that second half.
He did, yeah.
And if he played in that first half, we would see a much closer score.
He had 2 or 3 threes in that second half. It was huge that he got in foul trouble. And he was guarding Chaz and Gainey and Ziegler at times, so that was really helpful that he was off the floor a lot. Kind of like that Igor thing, he gets in foul trouble, can't really get it going. My second MVP was Tennessee's hands and overall ball pressure. We did a really great job at making them uncomfortable, getting those 11 turnovers that we forced. A lot of, that did lead to some of those transition and fast break points. That kind of went back to what I was saying in the preview video about how I don't think UCLA has seen a defense like ours in their Big Ten play, and I think that showed last night. They were obviously uncomfortable, kind of bogged down, and that really helped us at times in this game.
Yeah, kind of bouncing off of that, I said my last MVP is the UCLA steals and blocks. They had 14 combined, and that was probably mostly in the first half, but they were really disrupting us and in our face. Chaz was attempting a lot of pull-up twos, as he usually does, and I just noticed that they were in his face a lot better than how Walford was. So give them credit for their steals and blocks.
But for me, for UCLA, I had the trio of Mara, Clark, and Bilodeau. They really did try their hardest. I don't think they're going to return all those guys, but that combination is a really good, beginning, I guess, for any team. I mean, Clark is good at passing, pretty good defender from what I saw other than the fouls. Bilodeau can score a little bit, and then Mara is just a scary, versatile big man. They really tried their hardest, but outside of those three, UCLA pretty much got nothing all game.
All right, and then moving on to the LVPs, mine starts with UCLA's three-point percentage, which was pretty garbage. I think they had 30%. Compared to our 50%, we were going off, and they were doing the opposite. They really needed to hit some of those threes. Bilodeau was struggling. Sky Clark, I mean, he looked good out there, 4 for 6, but he just wasn't out there enough. And then the rest of the team just basically missed any opportunity that they got. So.
Yeah, outside of Bilodeau and Clark, they were like 1 for 8 from 3. So that's definitely not what you want at all from your others, and that's what I said too. Is the UCLA others? I've said that before. Again, just no production at all. Really did a good job at clamping those guys down. My second UCLA MVP was kind of just like Mick Cronin's defensive decisions and foul trouble as well. They kind of go hand in hand. He couldn't really play all of his guys defensively because of the foul trouble. I think 4 of their guys had 3 or more fouls. 4 of their starters had 3 or more fouls, which is tough. But I was a little questionable of his decisions. I talked him up a lot in the preview video. He's a really smart guy. The matchups at the beginning of the game weren't what I thought they would be. Kobe Johnson was like on Meshack. And I also thought, that full court press that they did at the end of the game really did a number on us. And it didn't really bring them back in the game, but it made the score a lot closer. I thought they should have been doing that all game. I mean, they're a really solid defensive team. It was really working for them. And I think if they did that, they might have had a shot at this game.
Yeah, they should have kept up what they were doing at the beginning of the game because Tennessee had such a sloppy start offensively. Now, UCLA did too, but to see us really come out that slow, they could have hopped on it, but instead they last led 25-24, and they just can never pull away.
And then my Tennessee LVP is the Tennessee turnovers, of course, and just closing that game out. That was a little bit, I won't say scary, but just, worrying a little bit. If they were any better, they could have made some noise. But yeah, for that full court press, it was really difficult, and all game really, to make crisp passes in the half court and, bringing the ball up because their pressure was good, but they just needed more juice offensively, I think.
And then lastly, we're going to go over our PCS final score predictions and see how they did. So if you don't know, the PCS is a really fun and easy way for you and your friends to predict the final score of any Tennessee game that's basketball or football. And afterwards, after the game, you get to have a prediction score that you compare with your friends to see who was the better predictor. And this is what Jason and I did for this game. So as you can see, I predicted 76-69. I was seeing a pretty high-scoring game. It was not close. But I came out with a 42, which is a C-plus grade. Not my best work.
Yeah, and I had a 74-66 prediction, which gives me a 31 prediction score, giving me a B grade. I also, obviously thought it would be a little bit more high-scoring. We just shouldn't have underestimated that defense, and, they didn't even get to 60, so which I think was the lowest scoring.
Was the lowest score that UCLA has had all season in a loss.
That's tough for them at this point in the season, but that just goes to how good our defense was.
And you can play too at the PCSonline.com. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you want to see more reviews and previews, stick around, subscribe, like this video if you enjoyed it. I'm Shea.
And I'm Jace.
Go Vols!
Go Vols!